them birds gon' fly. You already know. Rain, sleet, or snow. Eagles train to go.
All right, let's talk about it. Las Vegas Raiders at Philadelphia to play the Eagles Week 15. Game started off with Jalen Hurts picking up 9 yards with his legs to try to pick up a first down, leading to a crucial catch by Devontae Smith on a third down. Laid his body on the line for that catch, got banged up on the play. They tried to call it short. They replayed it, and they eventually showed that it was a first down, keeping the drive going. Eagles were at the goal line. Beautiful play designed by Kevin Patullo. Could have handed it to Saquon or pulled it. Instead, did a shovel pass right up the middle to Dallas Goedert for an easy touchdown, something that they did earlier in the season in the Buccaneers game. Eagles up 7-0. Las Vegas got the ball, didn't do much of anything with it at all. Ended up in a 4th and 6 situation. Try to go for it. I guess they have nothing to play for. They have 2 wins this season, but kind of disrespectful in the middle of the field. Failed to pick that up. Eagles get the ball, short field. Ended up at the goal line again. Easy pass to Dallas Goedert. That could have been an easy touchdown. Hit his hands. He dropped it. Crosby was able to sack Jalen Hurts on a third down. So they settled for a field goal from Jake Elliott, making the game 10-0. Las Vegas continues to do nothing with the ball. And when the Eagles got the ball back, they did a couple runs with Tanks Bigsby. Ran him a lot more in this game because Saquon was taking himself out the game a lot. More design runs from Jalen Hurts in this drive. More Dallas Goedert featured and leading to an easy touchdown from Saquon Barkley on the goal line. Game went into halftime 17-0 Eagles. Game came back in the third quarter. Kenny Pickett threw an interception to Zach Bond, giving the Eagles another short field. Dallas Goedert again for 32 yards. Hurts, more design runs for first downs. And another Dallas Goedert touchdown, making the game 24-0. Just another easy play, easy work. He just skated into the end zone. Game 24-0. At the top of the fourth quarter, threw the ball to A.J. Brown. A.J. Brown was in the slot for that play. And they need to probably explore that a little bit more. They did that earlier in the season as well, a couple weeks back against the Vikings. It was on the other side of the field. And A.J. Brown able to go up, made his man. He had him on skates at the top of the route. And he went right up the middle. The Raiders, they're not much of anything right now. The defenders, they weren't even defending that play tough. And it was an easy touchdown. He bobbled the ball a little bit, but the ball was there. It hit his hands, and he caught it for the touchdown. 31-0 Eagles, and that was at the top of the fourth quarter. They pulled the starters. Tanner McKee got to come in the fourth quarter to play the majority of the fourth quarter. He went 3 for 3, hitting Darius Cooper twice and Grant Calcaterra once. And Tank Bigsby ran the rest of the way, almost scored a touchdown at the goal line, but was denied and failed. Game ended 31-0 Eagles. Short game, second shortest game in NFL history, and it was just over very quickly, and the Eagles did what they were supposed to do with that type of team. The takeaways from this game, the Raiders, they're not a good team, so that's just that. They're still an NFL team. They have professional players on that side. They have Max Crosby. They have Bowers, but, they don't have much of anything. They have Genty, but there's not much going on for them. They're just a bad team. They're last in everything. They just been losing all season. They beat 2 teams, the Patriots and the Titans this season. So a good team and a bad team are the teams that they have their win against. So it is what it is. If the Eagles lost to the Raiders, the noise would be very loud right now. So don't get it twisted. Everybody will be talking about that. If the Eagles beat the Raiders by 1 point, everybody will still be talking about that. If the Eagles lost to the Raiders by 1 point in a freak accident, everybody will be criticizing the Eagles for that. So they have to, they have to be happy with the win. And it is what it is. It was a get-right game, and that's what they did. We could start with this defense. Brandon Graham came back, 2 sacks, and, it was on Kenny Pickett. If it was Geno Smith, it was probably going to be the same thing anyway. We're going to talk about Kenny Pickett, actually. So Kenny Pickett, he's what they treat Jalen Hurts like he was. Jalen Hurts wasn't a high drafted player. and he gets a lot of criticism as if he was drafted high and put a lot of expectations on him, even though he continues to win. But somebody like Kenny Pickett, he has the story that he's supposed to be better than this, and look at the results. He's been on several teams, and they have the nerve to put Super Bowl champion next to his graphic. And that was courtesy of the Eagles, and that was courtesy of Jalen Hurts, because just like this game, he came out the game because he handled his business and he let the backups play. But, back to the game, the Eagles on the defense, you have BG showing up, and he's, catching his stride. He's playing a lot more snaps now. That's just making the D-line more formidable. You got Nolan Smith. He had a sack in this game. You have Ojomo. He had a sack in this game. So you got everybody putting in a lot of work in this game. And, they have 4 sacks in this game. You got Jalen Phillips. He's making a big impact. He's hitting the quarterback a lot, batting balls down, tipping balls, affecting the trajectory of the football. So it's a lot happening. You got Dean. He's playing. He's blitzing. He's stopping the run. He's blowing up running backs, getting to the quarterback on the blitz or affecting the play some type of way. You got Zach Bond coming back in form with the interceptions, just making smart football plays, being great on the covering and still good with the tackling on the run game and everything else with the physicality. So, the linebacker that really needs help right now is Jahad Campbell, because he's still doing a lot of choppy feet type of things, because Kenny Pickett embarrassed him in this game on one of those plays that he tried to tackle Kenny Pickett, and he ultimately got stiff-armed and dropped to the ground, no matter how it looks, because when you keep chopping your feet and trying to tackle how he does, and you got Kenny Pickett putting the ball up, tucking the ball, and his other arm out, hitting you with the stiff arm, like, that's making you look bad, buddy. You got to do better than that, man. Like, what are you going to do when you face Lamar Jackson or somebody else like that, So he needs to up the physicality, but that's all I really have to say about him in this game. But as far as Dory Jackson, he's stepping it up a lot more. He got ran over in this game as well, but he's a smaller guy. He's not that physical, so Bowers embarrassed him on one of the plays. But other than that, he had a good game. He was getting PBUs and stuff like that. He was there on his man and had an interception last week. So he's showing up and he's stepping up. We know Quinyon Mitchell and Coop, they're just very reliable. And Quinyon Mitchell, man, just shout out to him. You don't really hear his name a lot throughout the game, and that's what you want. He doesn't get interceptions or anything that's flashy like that, so his name is not big in the league. But the Eagles fans and the team, they know what he means to the team, because you just shut down that entire area of the field, and we know what's happening. Kenny Pickett has 64 yards in this game. And, Coop, he gets in the game. Lockett was trying to get in his head in this game, antagonizing him, but, he kept it together. He got a flag earlier in the game off of that, but he kept it together and played his game. He's always there for the PBUs and stuff like that. So it was a good game from the cornerbacks. And the defense is only going to get better, because you got Jalen Carter after he heals up from his injury and all of that. Everything is just going to get that much better for the defense. Talking about the offense, you got Lane Johnson. He's going to be coming back soon. So everything is just working at the right time for the Eagles right now. Jalen Hurts had a good game this game, very efficient. This is what I've been talking about for weeks with non-empty yards. These are meaningful yards. He threw the ball 15 times, 12 completions for 3 touchdowns. And it should have been 4 touchdowns if Dallas Goedert didn't drop that ball. So you have 15 throws with 3 incompletions, but 3 touchdowns. That's efficiency right there. Don't let anybody fool you and try to talk negative about this win. This is the type of win that the Eagles wanted right here, because this is how you get right as a team. You do everything you need to do. Doesn't matter if it's against a bad team. It's just getting the vibes going, getting the flow of it, seeing what it looks like. And, you get to put it all together and you get that much more confident when you're playing other teams. So it was a good game from the team all around. Very efficient. Picked up the yards as well with 175 yards, but you got the touchdowns and was able to get out the game. He played the fourth quarter at the top of the game, threw a touchdown, and with 15 minutes left in the fourth quarter, And then on the next drive for the Eagles is when Tanner McKee came in. So he basically didn't play the fourth quarter. So that's a very good game right there. Don't let anybody fool you. The receivers had a good game as well. 2 catches each. And people will say, what was that from Brown and Smith? But at the end of the day, it was the efficiency. You got Brown with a touchdown on his second catch of the game, and his first catch of the game was in the third quarter, and the Eagles had the game handled. So that's efficiency right there. You got Smith with 2 big catches that mattered. The first one was a third down catch earlier in the game, keeping the drive alive, something he put his body on the line for. Got banged up a little bit. You know, Smitty's very tough. He stayed in the game, and the big 43-yard catch that he had later in the game that set the Eagles up for another score. So it's just 2 catches each, but it was what they were supposed to do with it, and it mattered. And I've been saying for weeks about utilizing Dallas Goedert. I've been saying it for weeks, and this game was a game that they showcased Dallas Goedert. Just simple routes and things that they're going to be set up for weeks to come, because the better the run game is getting, and the better those type of plays are getting, because you got plays where Dallas Goedert is looking like he's blocking, and then he releases open into just open space. And if teams start trying to crash down on that play, you're going to just have easy catches for Devontae Smith and A.J. Brown for big yardage. So there's just playbook that's opening up for the Eagles that I said it weeks ago too. I believe the Eagles are hiding plays, and they kind of practice some of them on the Raiders. And anybody's going to sleep on this win and talk about it's just the Raiders. But it's not just about it's just the Raiders. It's what they were able to put together and how they made it look. The confidence that they have. And when they interviewed QB1 at the end of the game, Pam Oliver asked them, you know, what does this mean and all of that? And he just said, you know, we just wanted to win. It just feels good to win. And that's what matters. You know, they played an NFL team. They won convincingly. And that's what I said going into this game that I wanted to see. So you can't complain or ask for anything better than that. They did what they were supposed to do with a bad team. They handled them easily, and that's it. That's what you're supposed to do with that game. So, you know, we have to give Kevin Patullo credit for utilizing Dallas Goedert the way he was supposed to. And, you know, nobody's going to want to play the Eagles at the link in the playoffs when it gets really cold with the Eagles playing this way. Because even Saquon Barkley is starting to have better games, and, you know, he's still struggling a little bit, but better games than being put all together, and the Eagles are sticking to the run. You know, in this game, they ran the ball a lot. They ran the ball a lot more than they threw the ball, and people are going to criticize that. But like I said, it's about efficiency. They can say, oh, they didn't throw the ball 30 times, that magical number they love speaking about. But at the end of the day, why would you want to throw the ball 30 times when you're winning the game? Like, it doesn't matter. The defense is playing lights out. And speaking of defense, it doesn't matter if they play the Raiders. Defense is going to get addicted to shutting teams out. Beating a team and they didn't score and you were stingy with your end zone like that, it doesn't matter who the team is that plays you next. It's going to be that way. The Eagles have had a very tough schedule. They never had any back-to-back home games this season. So, you know, there's a lot of things that go into this. They've had a tough schedule playing all playoff contending teams, and they've only lost to the NFC 3 times, and they've only had 3 really bad games. And out of those 3 bad games, they were still in 2 of them to the end. So anybody can criticize the Eagles all they want, but they're a team that nobody wants to see. And speaking of December, look at the Cowboys. I don't know why they're just not eliminated already. It just doesn't make any sense. They just keep talking about this 1% chance thing. What does that mean? What does that mean? They're not going to do anything with it. Everybody criticized the Eagles. When the Cowboys beat the Raiders, they were back. They were going to the Super Bowl. But the Eagles beat the Raiders, and it's just the Raiders. But then the Cowboys lose to J.J. McCarthy, and he's doing the gritty or whatever that was, because I don't know what that was, into the end zone in Jerry World in Dallas, and that's just crickets, and they're talking about 1%. So anyway, the Eagles are in good standing right now. For the last couple weeks, they were in 3rd place. They're still in 3rd place right now. So regardless of what's happened, they've kind of put themselves in a good position and get home field advantage and things of that nature. They just have to play these next games. They have Washington on Saturday, then they have Buffalo, then they have Washington again. So they just have to play these next games with the same enthusiasm that they played this. And, now things are clicking a little bit better. People are going to be coming back. Hopefully they're able to win out the rest of the season. But assuming they split with Washington, they'll still be in a good position, and they're for sure in the playoffs. And I don't feel like the Cowboys are any threat. They still have some tough games coming up. They weren't even able to beat the Vikings, so I don't expect them to really do anything. So don't let the haters detract from what happened in this game. The Eagles won the game. It was a comfortable game for the Eagles, and that's just what it was. Vibes are high. Everything is good going into Washington on Saturday. Washington have 4 wins this season, and they're not going to do much of anything but try to play some type of spoiler. The Eagles have to try to sweep them, but if not, at least beat them this time just to secure everything going on, because the Eagles beating them on Saturday automatically eliminates the Cowboys, and that'll just be, the icing on the cake right there. So, good game from the Eagles, bad game from the Raiders. Go Birds.
Them birds gon' fly, you already know. Rain, sleet, or snow, Eagles train to go. Say what you want about a cute big coach, but all they do is whip, put your feet on your throat. Line hunts, secondary, no fly zone. When you leave the link, it's a long flight home. Them birds gon' fly, you already know. Rain, sleet, or snow, Eagles train to go.